And you're watching Andrew Colton TV.
Hey guys, thanks for checking in. I'm here with Kenny 5 from Magic Robot Films. We wanted to take you behind the scenes of this year's Fright Night commercial so you can take a look at how we put things together. So this year's commercial we shot with the Blackmagic Ursa Mini 4.6K. We were shooting in a lot of lower light conditions, so for me I thought it was smart to bring my ISO down to about 400 for a large majority of the shots. I wanted to make sure we got super clean blacks and we got, pretty much most of our effects done in camera. A lot of the look and style of the shoot I actually achieved in camera by messing around with the white balance and tint. I believe I had my white balance set to 2400 or something like that and boosted the greens in the tint. This way I really knew what I was getting before I even get to the coloring board. I kind of already saw it in the camera. We had a good director's monitor on set, which I know you thought was awesome to work with.
Absolutely. I think having the director's monitor is so important. It gave me a chance to break away from Andrew and not, be attached to him. I could, walk where I wanted to, go where I wanted to, and sometimes, frankly, just have to be out of the way so Andrew could get the shot that was required.
The wireless transmission we used on set was a Cinegears Ghost Eye, and those things are really impressive with how far the distance is. I remember one point you were downstairs and could still see everything on the monitor, and I was like half a building away. We filmed this all at the South Florida Fairgrounds. It was a very old building. It's where they hold the expos at. And upstairs, they have some really creepy areas that look like they haven't been touched in 20 years. It's a really good place for a shoot like that if you're doing horror.
I think you touched on something good. Location's everything. I mean, there's so many variables that go into making a good television commercial, but having a great location. Andrew and I were lucky enough again to be able to shoot out at the South Florida Fairgrounds, so there's so much eye candy, and we spend a day, we go out, we look at everything, we take some pictures, and we determine where's going to be the best place for these shots. We sort of let the surroundings guide us as to where we were shooting, what we were shooting, and how we were shooting it.
Guerrilla filmmaking at its finest.
And Andrew's musical background, it's easy to work with. He was the one with the speaker on set playing the Slayer, so I didn't have to talk him into anything. And if you don't have to talk your DP into stuff, that's a great start right there.
You can't blame me for the Slayer, it just happens. In the first lighting setup we did, we put a couple of different lights around, mostly the Aputure 120D with the Fresnel attachment. We found an AC vent up there and we put it in front of the Aputure 120D, using it almost like a cookie. And it really gave a lot of nice shadows in there and really brought some of the scene to life for us. For fill light, I put the Aputure Light Dome softbox on the Aputure 120D in front to kind of, give us a little bit more light in the general area. When we got to the hallway scene, we had a really heavy fogger over there, and guys,
somebody left the fog machine on, so it fogged up the whole place.
Make sure your fogger's off if you're not in the room, because that thing took like half an hour to air out. The heavy dense fog in an area like that goes wonders in terms of spreading out light and creating depth and atmosphere in general. We were able to get some really nice separation. I used the Aputure Mini 20 far back in the distance, almost like a hair light or a spotlight, just kind of to add a little bit more life to the shot. The room already had some really creepy, fluorescent tubes that were going along the wall.
We literally had somebody working the wall switch on where the outlet was and creating a strobe effect with the lights that were in the hallway, which again, stuff that we didn't count on, we made up when we got there.
Pretty sure that light's not working anymore.
Nope, it's done, fried.
When we got outside, there were a lot of different challenges we were dealing with, especially in terms of lighting. It gets really dark out there, and we were shooting at 120 frames per second, so our light was just squashed. I put a couple lights around, and we were able to get just enough light that we needed to really make things pop. One of the big goals was to separate the color of the smoke from the backdrops, so we really had to use a lot of backlighting and side lighting to really make the color of the smoke pop. I made sure to get my key light as high as possible to replicate, not necessarily moonlight, but to almost imitate that angle. So we put it on the bed of Kenny's truck and made sure that it was really, up there.
We used a company called Enola Gay, which is a great company. They sell a lot of smoke grenades, hand grenades, different ways to smoke up your set and fog it up. And the neat thing is they make colors, real brilliant blues, purples, reds, orange, and these are great. But of course, safety is always first on the set. We always make sure we have a fire extinguisher there, and we go over with everybody the program when we're using these type of items.
Guys, we had a lot of fun making this commercial. We'll definitely make sure we share it when it comes out. But make sure you check out Fright Nights this October at the South Florida Fairgrounds. They've been around for like 20 years. It's a really awesome place, and the monsters and the whole scenery is just a really, really awesome place to be and around Halloween.